All right, Jenny from Yorkeys Knob just wrote in. She's loving Sarah today. How good, Sarah, everyone. While the Labor government has delivered their second consecutive budget in the black, many Aussies aren't seeing a surplus at home.
Regardless of your situation, every Australian will get a share of the billions the government is handing down in cost of living relief. Today, money expert Effie Zahos is back with some more details for us.
Effie.
Good morning.
So there is something in it for everyone.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been unpacking a lot of this through the morning, and I think I want to focus a little bit on when will I get this money? How do I actually get it?
Yeah.
So we've talked so much about these tax cuts. The thing is, you are not going to get this money straight in your pocket. In fact, there's a little work involved here. So just to explain these stage 3 tax cuts, it's a change to the tax brackets and rate. So if you're over 18,200, that tax-free threshold, you'll get something back. Go to the government's calculator, taxcuts.gov.au, and you'll find out what's applicable to you. But you've got to do your tax return. The earliest you can do that is the 1st of July. If you owe money to the government, then that saving will come off that tax that you owe. If you don't, you'll get it in your pocket. The energy ones we just spoke about, that is going to come to you each quarter. So these are not hit straight away. And of course, you've got the cheaper medicine and the rent assistant boost by 10%.
The rent assistance a boost of $9 a week.
It's dismal.
What about seniors? I mentioned Jenny from the block in Yorkeys Knob. These are e.g. my mum. What does she get out of the budget?
So the seniors here, in addition to the cheaper medicine as well, that's frozen for 5 years there. The thing I like is the deeming rates are also frozen. So let me explain. This is going to be some much welcome relief, even for self-funded retirees that have got the concessional card or pensioners. The reason being is that the government is going to deem your money is only earning, if you're single under 60,400, 0.25, as opposed to some banks are paying now 5%. So essentially, you can earn more without impacting your pension. So that's nice, frozen for another year.
All right, students.
So no real surprises here. You've got the HECS debt that's been readjusted. Again, the government's got a calculator there that they can have a look at. There is some release also when it comes to teachers, studying, nurses. That's a nice $319 per week. That's not coming to 2025. And also the free courses. So there's a bit there. I mean, the stage 3 tax cuts and that relief can be quite good.
The government's also putting the onus on unis now as well to provide housing for all the migration we're seeing.
Yeah, very clever there, because it's big business getting these international students here. Going to uni is expensive. They fund a lot of that. So they're saying to them basically, yeah, that's okay. You can still have those numbers coming through, but you've got to find accommodation. I'm not sure where they're going to find
where's the real estate?
Houses aren't going to get built,
No.
and rents are only going to go up.
Yeah. So let's talk about those that didn't do so well. You're absolutely right. Looking at home affordability, nothing there. Motorists, nothing there. Drinkers, nothing there as well. And possibly homeowners, because they have really underestimated their inflation targets compared to what the RBA has done. And they're also factoring in job losses from 3.8% unemployment to 4.5%. You have less people in the market, less income coming through. So how are they going to pay for this?
Interesting.
Lots of red to come.
Good on you, Effie. Thank you.
Here is
Fallout from Budget 2024. The Treasurer attempting to kill two birds with one budget: cost of living and growing inflation.
Dr. Jim Chalmers prescribing billions of dollars in relief, delivering a back-to-back surplus, but at the cost of a decade of deficits.
This morning, our live interviews with the Prime Minister in 10 minutes and Treasurer just after 7:30. Plus, analysis from our Budget 2024 team with how the billions boil down. But first, the announcements hitting your back pocket. This morning, the Treasurer promising cost of living support for all Australians.
It's a responsible budget that helps people under pressure today.
The centrepiece is $3.5 billion in energy bill rebates. Every household in the country will receive $300 to help with their power costs, $325 for small businesses.
Just as every Australian taxpayer will get a tax cut, every Australian household will get energy price relief.
The already legislated tax cut for workers kicking in on July 1. For someone earning $80 grand a year, it means an extra $1,679 in their pocket. A trip to the pharmacy will also be cheaper. The maximum cost of PBS medicines will be frozen at $31.60 next year, while the discounted rate of $7.70 for pensioners and concession card holders will be fixed for 5 years. There's a modest 10% boost to Commonwealth rent assistance, around $19 a fortnight for singles, $25 for families on welfare support.
We know that cost of living pressures fall heaviest on the most vulnerable.
Powering up a future made in Australia will take a mammoth $23 billion investment over a decade. In the short term, the Treasurer is betting on his budget adding downward pressure on inflation.
Inflation is expected to be lower sooner.
But more Australians will be out of work, unemployment rising to 4% in coming months, the government banking on a $9.3 billion surplus this year, then deficits for the next 4 years. This year, debt still an eye-watering $904 billion.
I commend this bill, Mr Speaker, and this budget to the House.
A budget with an eye to the future and a pledge to support people now.
Our Budget 2024 team is standing by with their analysis. First to Today Money expert Effie Zahos. Effie, $300 in your back pocket as a rebate. How does that sound?
Yeah, I'll just clarify that. It's not $300 in your back pocket. It is going straight to your energy provider. It will be coming in July and it'll be paid each quarter. So the average quarterly energy bill, depending on where you live, let's say it's around $350, it could make a big dent there. But this is the argument, should have been means tested. This rebate is as much as about giving a cost of living relief as it is about reducing, artificially deflating that rate, because it has the potential here to reduce inflation by 0.5. So should the government means tested it? Absolutely, in a perfect world. They're arguing that, hey, there's too much red tape, can't do it, give it to everyone, it's easier. And that's going to hit about 10 million households. And that's on top. Queenslanders got that 1,000, so this is in addition to that. Much needed relief for low-income earners, definitely. Will that cause inflationary pressure? Well, this is the second round that we've had these rebates. Numbers did come down. We saw the energy rebates last term. They came through. So it'll be interesting to see if this does move forward.
All right, well, economics editor at the Australian Financial Review, John Keogh, is standing by in Canberra for us. Johnny, the Treasurer is insisting these measures will reduce inflation. Economists disagree. How do you reckon the RBA is going to react?
Yeah, look, in the short term, I think it will sort of artificially or mechanically reduce the measured reported inflation through the Consumer Price Index, Sarah. But overall, I think the RBA will start to look through that and go, well, this is putting a bit more money in people's pockets, not just these household energy discounts, but all the other money in the budget as well. And that will probably add a little bit of underlying inflation pressures to the economy. I don't think the Reserve Bank will immediately react. They don't rush these sort of things. Overall, they're going to be looking very closely from July because we've got $23 billion worth of income tax coming in, some of these other subsidies in the economy and other general government spending. But I think they'll be keeping a very close eye on things. And I find it hard to believe that we'll see a rate cut anytime soon after this budget.
Yep, that's for sure. There's a lot riding on all this. Nine's political editor, Charles Croucher, joins us now again after a long night. Charlie, good morning to you. Let's talk about how it lands politically. What do you reckon?
Well, politically, you can see what Effie and John have said there. Don't forget this $300 begins July, the same time as those stage 3 tax cuts that now go to every taxpayer. The other thing is this is on top of energy rebates, $400 going to people in WA, all the money to Queensland. What are those two most important states come election time? WA and Queensland. It kind of works nicely, doesn't it? This starts a conversation moving forward. I disagree with what Matt Canavan was saying about early elections. There's still a lot to get through and the government want to see interest rates drop before they go to the polls. That, to me, with a busy back end of the year, says this is something that will happen in 2025. Potentially, although it's still in the air, another budget will go in there as well. But don't forget, Carl, elections are about the future. What we saw last night was also a $23-odd billion program calling about making things here in Australia. Lots of subsidies for green energy, a new direction for Australia when it comes to jobs and innovation. The Coalition has already said they're against the largest chunk of those subsidies. So there's an election battle that will play out whenever that election is. Tomorrow, we hope we start to hear what the Coalition's plans are for not just saying no or yes to this budget, but budgets into the future, because that debt number is eye-watering moving forward.
It sure is, Charles. Thank you. Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my goodness, Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
That never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?